you have to go through the proper channels to do so in this kind of facility.
It's called freedom. Not opposite of freedom. Not check and see. Not find the nearest servant and ask them. It's a God-given right. All right, well, I'm gonna go back in this. Okay, at this point, I'm ordering you to remove yourselves. You are now creating a disturbance. I will be placing you under arrest.
Okay.
I'm number 12. 13 is up.
Okay. Did you come here today with the motive of doing all this?
I don't answer questions.
Okay, because it sounds
We're
like
done.
you like
Listen,
to hit.
you're creating a disturbance. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave.
Sir, please.
Yeah, you're creating a disturbance.
Okay.
Yep, take a walk. There you go. Yep, go on. Go on, kids. There they go.
I think my
Whatever, dude. These are my employees. What are you talking about? They're going to do as they're told. They're going to do as they're told. We'll see. Actually, I will get served. These are my employees. They're going to do as they're told.
Okay.
We'll see.
Number 19.
Next time, don't be playing games with people.
19.
Next time, don't be playing games with people, okay? Listen, I employ you, and I don't want you playing games next time I come in here. I don't want you throwing fits and running off. I don't want you doing any of the things you've been doing today, okay? This is a public place. If you try and, listen, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I have arrest powers, and if you try and hassle me, yeah, I do. Okay. Do you know the law at all, stupid?
And what powers?
Do you know what the law is
I'm
on citizen's arrest?
Oh, citizens arrest?
So right now you're being disorderly. You're trying to interrupt my business. You're refusing to take my footage. Okay? So
It's not valid in any way, shape, or form.
really, citizen's arrest isn't valid?
No,
Why don't you read a book, socialist?
Not in the way you're acting.
Dude, you need to leave me alone.
You need to leave, or you're going to get arrested.
Listen, I'm going to place you under arrest for a citizen's arrest. You cannot leave until you deal with a police officer. I consider your actions disorderly. You're attempting to stop me from completing my business, which is turning in footage. I'm placing you under arrest. Please get your sergeant.
And what book should he read? My new book, Treason. It is an indictment against those that participated against the citizens in the drug war. It's about the laws of this country. It's about the facts that our country was founded on. It's about finding out what your authority is in these situations so that you cannot be run over. What I've experienced is that any public building you go into, you are constantly met with people that think that they are above you, when in reality they are servants. And they're not even competent to take care of themselves. Without us, they have no paychecks, they have no trades, they have no skills. And this is the reality of it. They have no constitutional rights against us. So this book is about bringing a citizen back into his power and the authority that being a citizen actually carries with it.
Oh, we're going into the socialist den. I really don't feel up to this. They're always causing problems. Leaving it up to us to fix.
This was going to be a video showing how to get past the radiation machine and the unlawful checkpoint that they have at the courthouses. And it was on part of my notice. You can check for documents on my website. These public servants did not have the door manned. So unfortunately, I didn't get to show you that process, but it's the same process that I'm going to show you here.
Jury number?
595.
I don't have a 595 on here. We're gonna have to have Stacy look it up here. So, yep, I don't have you on here. So let's have Kennedy Walker. I'm gonna have you grabbed all your stuff here. have you, Stacy will look you up in the system and see what your number is, and then she can write it on there for you, okay?
Yeah.
And actually, we have you exempt from service.
I am exempt.
Pardon me?
I am exempt.
Okay, then you didn't need to report. If you're exempt, you don't need to report.
Well, I was summoned, so I,
Right, but if you've been exempt, even though your number was called, you don't have to report. That's why you're exempt.
well, I wasn't exempted until after the summons, so.
Right, but exactly. But everyone is summons, and then you get exempt because we don't know who's actually called in, and so that's why you were exempt after the fact. So,
Okay.
yeah. So you don't have to serve today.
Okay, I just need to talk to billing then. You guys to pay for my time.
Okay, I'll pay you for coming in, but you're exempt, so you don't have to report anymore. Okay, all right, you're free to go.
So where is, what is it, payroll?
I'm Ed, so I'm going to go ahead and pay you for coming in, but you don't have to serve anymore, so you're free to go. Unless you don't want to serve. I mean, do you want to be exempt or you want to serve?
I don't care.
Okay, will you tell me what would you like to do?
I could care less. What's the plan? What do you want to do from here?
I'm asking you, sir. Would you're welcome to serve. It's just
If
you
I
were
was
asked to be
exempted,
exempt.
does it say what reason I'm exempted?
No, you had asked to be exempt.
I didn't.
So, okay, then I'm going to go ahead and mark you to serve then, and we'll take you off of there. And you're welcome to serve. It's just I was asking you why you had reported because we had you exempt. So I'll be happy to put you back in there.
If you guys sent out a letter once you exempt someone, then I don't think you'd have that type of issue in the future.
We did. So I must have gotten lost in the mail. So that's why I was wondering, and that's happened a couple of times. So if you want to serve, then I'll go ahead and mark you as serving. Is that what you'd like
Sure.
to do? Okay. All right. Are you currently employed?
I don't answer questions.
Well, I need to know for your per diem.
So,
Okay, I'll go ahead and pay you for your per diem and your mileage, and you can just head on in the courtroom.
right here.
Yes, sir, right there.
Thank you. Oh, do I need a number on the back of here?
Sure, I'll put that on there. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Did you get a jury button? Okay,
I have one.
put that on, you can head into court.
Okay.
Cell phones, anybody?
Or smartwatch. Can't
Yes.
have your smartwatches either.
Anything that can access the internet, we have to.
Anyone else?
Excuse me. I'll be invoking my Fourth Amendment right against search and seizure.
If you have a cell phone, we do need to collect it.
Fourth Amendment that says that you don't.
Any cell phones over here? Anyone down here? What's your
Hi, sir.
So,
Are you recording?
oh, I don't answer questions.
Well, you cannot record in the courtroom
Really? Why is that?
because it's a courtroom rule.
Have you ever read the Constitution? Calls it a public courtroom.
Okay, but you have to have prior approval from the court.
It's a First Amendment right.
Okay. Well, sir, there's no recording in the courtroom, so
It's a First Amendment right. It's a public trial.
well, if you're going to be in there, you need to turn the camera off.
I was summoned here.
Well, there's signs posted you can't be recording in the courtroom.
Oh, do the signs have a law on them? Let's see. No audio or video recording is allowed without approval from the court. And then this is what? UTCR?
Rules and supplemental local rules, those are enforced by the Chief Justice.
Okay. So is that higher or lower than the Constitution of the United States?
Part of the Constitution. Is that you obey all laws.
I hadn't even looked at it or anything.
So because of the supremacy clause, the Constitution actually takes precedence over this and everything.
Sir, if you can't stop recording, that's fine. You do not need to serve your jury duty today. We cannot have you recording in the courtroom.
Well,
Well, so if I leave, or if I don't leave, then you're going to arrest me? Is that basically what's going on?
No, you'd be relieved from jury duty.
So what if I don't leave, though?
If you don't leave, then we'll have to have you turn that off.
So it's a public trial, so I'm allowed to be here.
I understand that, but you gotta understand that we can't have people recording in here, and there might, like the sign says, it has to be approved. So if you can get it
But
approved,
here's the problem, is that this doesn't supersede the Constitution of the United States of America, which you swore an oath to. So if you go ahead and enforce anything contrary to my First Amendment right to press
okay,
and Sixth Amendment right to a public trial,
okay.
then you'll be in violation of
All right, so
the law.
will you enlighten me a little bit on why you feel that way?
It's called a public trial in the Constitution.
It is, and the press can record and distribute it.
Okay. So what's the problem?
So the press comes in.
Can I sit down here?
You can. So the press could come in, get it approved, and it would be distributed to the general public, right? But they have to go through the approval process.
But that's based on is that a state law? What is that?
I believe it goes into both. There's some federal components to it as well, if I'm remembering that correctly.
So anything that violates the Bill of Rights is null and void?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm a huge proponent of the Bill of Rights.
And so since I have freedom of press, and this is a public trial, then I already have the freedom to do it, and I don't need to ask.
Right, but you have to go through the process to use that. It has to be approved.
It's an inalienable right, actually.
Well, sir, they're just asking you to turn off your camera, or they're going to resume the jury duty.
I mean, I don't care what they do. I was ordered to be here. That's why I'm here.
Mommy, come on.
If you don't turn the camera off,
Let's clear out in the middle of nowhere in a minute. And it's like,
I don't believe I have to be anywhere. Haven't been charged with a crime. I'm here because this is a civic duty.
there's no cameras allowed in the courtroom, so we can't allow you to go back in there unless you turn the camera off.
Okay, I explained to you the law of the land, which is freedom of press. You seem to be in denial of that.
because he wants me out of the house. But
Well, you're not going back in the courtroom if you haven't turned the camera off.
If I go in the courtroom, will you arrest me?
your daughter out of my house, okay?
I will not arrest you, but we'll have to escort you out of the courtroom.
Yeah. And I'm just like.
You're not putting your hands on me.
This was like the day he was served.
You're not going in there with the camera.
If I go in there, am I going to be subject to arrest? Are you going to detain me? Are you going to be touching me? Stuff.
It's very fancy, you better keep it.
I will have to do what I have to do.
Okay, so you're threatening me that you are going to violate my constitutional rights with the threat of arrest. Is that correct?
No, sir.
So I will not be arrested.
No, I'm not going to arrest you.
Okay, great. Are we done?
They're just asking that you don't have cameras in the courtroom.
They can ask all they want. It's my right.
There is no cameras in the courtroom.
No, it's a First Amendment right. It's freedom of press. I can definitely record in the courtroom because the courtroom has been defined as a public trial. Public. That means I have all the rights I have in public, like in this hallway. First Amendment right, which I'm using right now, and I have the same right in there because the, what is it, Sixth Amendment says? It's a public trial.
Okay, but like Deputy Ordway explained, you got to get approval to use the camera in there.
Well, if you're not threatening me with any physical violence, then I don't, aren't we done?
Yeah, we're done. You're just not going to go back in there with.
And if I do go back in there, then what are you going to do?
I'm going to do my job, and they're asking you.
Your job is to follow freedom of press.
Well, you're not going to go in there with the camera, sir.
And if I do, then what?
And I'm going to have to escort you out of the building.
Okay, so you're going to touch me?
If it comes to that.
So, okay, so let me get this straight. If I exercise my First Amendment right, freedom of press, in a public trial, then you're going to put your disgusting, grubby little fucking hands on me. Is that right?
You're not following the correct process.
Is that correct?
You have not got approval from the court to record it.
I don't care. I have a First Amendment right. The court is, these are all my servants. You're my servant. You're my servant. These losers are all my servants. And I don't care what they have to say.
And that's correct, sir. You absolutely have the right to exercise your First Amendment right. I understand that. You have to go through the proper channels to do so in this kind
It's
of
freedom.
facility.
It's called freedom. Not opposite of freedom. Not check and see. Not find the nearest servant and ask them. It's a God-given right.
I agree the First Amendment is definitely a God-given right. Listen, I'm a big believer in the Constitution.
Then we're done here.
Like, we're on the same page with this. But you gotta understand there's channels you have to go through in order to do that in this facility.
Really? So when it says freedom of, they mean not freedom of, or what? If it says freedom of press, inalienable, God-given right, then I do not have to ask anyone.
Right, but there's things like case law.
Case law doesn't supersede the Constitution of the United States.
I agree with you. I agree
It's the supreme law of the
I
land.
agree that it shouldn't. That I 100% agree that case law shouldn't. But over the course of this country's existence, it has.
Is it Erica's case?
No. Anything that violates the Constitution is null and void. That's Marbury versus Madison.
Okay, tell her as soon as possible. Thank you.
So that's not really a law. It just looks like it.
What's not a law?
That right there.
That is a uniform trial.
Okay, so
court
you
rule.
just walked in the middle of a conversation, so that explains why you don't know what's going on here. But actually what's going on is the Supremacy Clause of the Constitution declares that any law that tries to take precedence over the Bill of Rights is actually null and void. So that's null and void.
It's actually not null and void. The Chief Justice of the
It
State
is,
of
ma'am.
Oregon enforces that rule for
Chief Justices don't enforce, okay? These guys are enforcers.
Okay, so they're enforcing that rule. Those are the uniform.
No, they're not going to enforce that rule because I already explained to them my First Amendment right.
Okay, excuse
They're
me.
going to have to violate their oath to enforce that law. Right? Which I don't suppose you want to do you? I wouldn't want to do it. If I took an oath, I'd take it seriously. You know, all the men, women, and children that have died for it and all. Well, are we done here?
That's up to you.
So here's what's going on is you're wanting to blame your actions on someone else,
No,
which is
I'm not
pretty
blaming-
typical.
I'm not blaming anything on anybody.
Okay, so what happens if I go back in there?
You can't record in there.
I can record because of the First Amendment. It's the supreme law of the land. I don't know what's so confusing about this. It's the supreme law of the land. When America exists is because that law exists. And so we're going to follow that law, not that. Oregon joined the Union because that law was there. And now we're not going to pretend like we joined and now we're subjects. I'm not a subject. Not at all. So, I mean, really, it's up to you. And honestly, if you threaten me again, I'm probably going to place you under arrest. So, what are you going to do if I go back in there?
We're going to escort you out, sir.
Okay, so
Called us up
so
here
you're
because-
threatening to disrupt my business?
They called us up here because you were recording, and there's no recording allowed.
I don't care. It's not a law. The law is freedom of press. Period. So you're dismissed, really. What? What's so confusing to you? Are you confused? What? You don't get it, do you? It's the supreme law of the land. There's nothing you can do. All right, well, you're dismissed. All right, well, I'm going to go back in this. Okay, at this point, I'm ordering you to remove yourselves. You are now creating a disturbance. I will be placing you under arrest.
Let's get a criminal deputy up here.
All right, that was a lawful trespass that I just made against this deputy. Both deputies, really. I'm asking them to leave. And while a person can't be trespassed from a public building for no reason, these guys are actually prohibiting me from accomplishing my business, which is going into a public trial. So because of their crime, they've been lawfully trespassed from this building. And if they are carrying firearms, which they probably are, I don't remember, and I'm not seeing it necessarily in the video, but it's probably in there somewhere, then it's an enhancement here in Oregon. So far, we've got criminal trespass for both of these deputies. So that's 2 crimes. If you get in my way, if you impede my business, I will be placing you under arrest for disorderly conduct.
You get dispatched to get a criminal deputy over here.
Is this your supervisor you're trying to get, or what?
Courtroom 1.
I feel like you're trying to stare me down. Is that kind of what you're doing?
I want to go use the bathroom.
Okay.
I think it's this way, sir. Listen, if you're trying to intimidate me out of my constitutional rights, you know you're subject to a lawsuit, right?
Sir, we're just not going to allow you in the courtroom with the camera.
Why? I have a First Amendment right to record in there. It's public. It's a public trial.
Well, the court lady already explained that to you.
Yeah, and I already explained the Bill of Rights to you. So yeah, it's the supreme law of the land. Listen, I'm getting ready to arrest both of you. You're creating a disturbance, and you're prohibiting me. All right, he just made the allegation that I was being disorderly, and that is actually disorderly conduct in the 2nd degree here in Oregon. So if I can get your attention to E, initiates or circulates a report knowing it to be false concerning an alleged or impending fire, explosion, crime, catastrophe, or other emergency. So he just initiated and circulated a report knowing it to be false concerning an alleged crime. So he's watching me. He understands that he has not received a complaint from someone that I am impeding their business. It cannot be an officer that charges me with disorderly conduct because it violates my 6th Amendment right to face my accuser. So it couldn't possibly be him. That means he needs to have a report from someone that I am being disorderly and that I am, causing public inconvenience, annoyance, alarm, recklessly creating a risk thereof, engaging in fighting, making unreasonable noise. All of these things require a complainant. And the difference between me or you and the officer is that you are the complainant and the officer, in most cases, is not. Of course, nothing I say can be taken as legal advice. And in fact, everything that I'm teaching you here it comes with a level of danger. So you should probably be careful about anything that I'm showing you and realize that it's a double-edged sword. And you can get cut by it the same as using it as a tool to help you. Oh, listen, now he's saying I'm disorderly. Like, you're on recording, by the way.
That's fine.
So you just called me disorderly for what fact? What fact makes me disorderly?
You're not going to cooperate.
What fact makes me disorderly? This is the law. I'm following the law. You are being disorderly. You're trying to impede my business. If we look at the Oregon statute for disorderly conduct in the 2nd degree, we can look at 1, he's causing public inconvenience to me. C, disrupts any lawful assembly of persons without lawful authority. And so what we're looking at so far is there's 2 of these disorderly conduct charges for the sergeant here, and 1 of them for the other deputy. And then there's also trespassing or trespassing with a firearm if they are indeed carrying a firearm. You're willing to get arrested over what? Somebody tells you what to do or what? I don't get it.
Excuse me, whichever way you prefer me to go.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I mean, sir, you're not going in.
Defend yourself. Make it make sense.
Because I have a right to record in there. It's the Constitution. It's the supreme law of the land. Nothing overrides the supreme law of the land. So I don't know what you think you're doing.
Sir, the judge has spoken to the trial attorneys today, and they've excused you. You don't need to be here, so you're free to go.
I was always free to go.
Okay, well, I'm just letting you know you're not required to be here.
Okay.
Okay? All the important stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, I'm ordering you to move.
Are you not?
Excuse me.
What?
Are you not going?
Listen, I'm in the middle of something here.
Okay, well, I'm asking you a question.
Okay.
So are you leaving?
Okay.
Excuse
Listen, I'm in the middle of something. I'm in the middle of something here. Thank you. All right, are you gonna get out of my way?
You've been excused, sir.
So? Does that mean I can't be there?
Not right now,
Why?
because you've been accused by the judge.
So? Does that mean I can't be there? Or does that mean I don't have to be there?
You're not gonna go in there with the recording device.
Why? First Amendment says I can. And Fourth Amendment. I assume you're trying to steal my camera or something, right?
We just ask that you turn it off, please.
It's not going off. It's First Amendment right.
Okay, well, then you're not going to the courtroom.
Okay. All right, listen, what I'm gonna do, now, I could arrest you. I could arrest you. Just place you under a citizen's arrest. Go ahead and get the sheriff over here. He'll collaborate with you. It's a guarantee. People like you are not big on following your oaths. You know, just like you're doing right now. So I definitely could arrest you. You are being disorderly. You are impeding my business.
Sir, how can we help you?
Did I ask for help?
I'm asking you, how can we help you?
I suppose you'd order these guys to get out of my way.
What's going on?
These guys believe that this sign over here overrides the Constitution of the United States, if you could believe such a thing. They think that it actually overrides my First Amendment right to record a public trial, which is, what, Sixth Amendment? So we got First and Sixth. So this is a public trial, and I have freedom of the press, so I'm allowed to record in there or out here or wherever I want. And these gentlemen believe that they are going to use physical violence to stop me from getting in here. So I'd like them ordered off the door.
So what is UTCR 3.180 and SLR 3.181? What do they say? Because I haven't read those.
Since this says no audio or video recording, and I have a First Amendment right to press.
There's some laws here that they're citing.
Since
I haven't read these, so I don't know.
Since there's the supremacy clause in the Constitution, those laws are actually null and void because they violate the Bill of Rights, the First Amendment, right to press.
Okay.
So they look like laws, certainly I would give you that, but they're not laws.
Okay.
Because they're null and void.
Well, that's what we're going to go by today.
Okay. So you're going to disobey the oath that you took to the United States Constitution and the Bill of Rights today.
Well, I'm going to follow this law.
No, the United States Constitution and the Bill of Rights.
I understand what you're saying, and those are contradicting each other.
No. One is above the other.
Correct.
So like the Bill of Rights is above this.
Okay. Well, we're not going to argue about it.
Okay, you're dismissed.
You are as well. Thank you.
Oh, also order these guys off this door.
That's not going to happen.
Really?
Nope.
Well, based on what? The First Amendment grants me the right to record in there. And it's also called a public trial in the Bill of Rights. Now that's the supremacy clause.
So you're not going to go in there with the camera?
Under threat of violence, right? What are you going to do if I go in there?
I already told you.
You actually didn't. The thing is, since you know you're committing criminal conduct, you're being pretty tight-lipped about your actions. So what are you going to do to me if I walk in that door?
So if you walk in the door, you're going to be arrested for contempt of court.
Contempt of court, and who's the complainant?
The judge advising us.
So the judge is in his judicial capacity and he cannot make an arrest.
This officer just committed the crime of disorderly conduct in the 2nd degree because he is threatening me with violence for exercising a constitutional right. Now, there are some laws that allow someone to be disorderly as long as they have a lawful purpose. Okay? So when you don't have a lawful purpose, all it is a threat of violence. So when he threatens to take away my 6th Amendment right to have an accuser, I mean, he's completely stepping outside of his role as law enforcer. I want everyone to understand that there are lots of citizens here and none of them have committed any crimes against me. And then for some reason, law enforcement shows up and now we've got crimes they just keep on happening. And that's what my book's about.
So there is no complainant with contempt of court. Are you aware of that?
So I am just advising. That's what will happen.
Okay.
So
bias, you can evaluate when and whether it is impacting your decision making. You can also remember that unconscious bias acts as a sort of binder. If you make decisions based on that.
Gentlemen?
Have a good day.
You too. I believe I proved my point.
Yes, you did.
Thank you. Hey. I've been, let's see, released or something from jury duty, so how do I finish up?
So just take your button.
Oh, right, okay.
Did you have a phone or anything?
No, give up a phone.
Okay. All right. So there should be nothing else that you're going to do. What's your journal that you are on?
595?
595. Okay, perfect. You don't need a sheet for proof that you were here today for work purposes or anything?
No.
Okay.
I need, how do I get paid, I guess?
So they'll mark you down as being here for today, and then at the end of the month, after your term of service is done, you'll get a check for your appearance for today and your per diem, based on your form that you sent in.
Let's see, I didn't fill that out. Can I speak with her?
They're in the courtroom doing their orientation part, so if you wanted to have a seat, it'll be a few minutes.
Okay.
Or I can see if Paula is available. She's helping with the jury.
Yeah, maybe she can help.
Or I can have one of our supervisors visit with you if you'd like.
Hey. I just wanted to get a place squared away of where to send the bill. So I'm billing for the times that I called in, and then just for, today, just 1 hour.
Okay. So we'll send your jury per diem and your mileage to the address that we have on file.
Okay.
And you'll get that at the end of the month.
So I need to send the bill, though. It needs to, account for each hour.
So we don't pay for that.
Well, see, the problem is that if I allow you to set my wage, then that makes me a slave.
Okay. So is there anything else I can help you with?
Yeah, it's $500 an hour. Each phone call I made, I am billing a full hour. Okay, so I think that was 4 phone calls plus today. So that's $2,500 plus the fuel stipend.
Yes, we don't pay for that, but.
Okay, see, you don't set my wage because if you do, that makes you a slaveholder and guilty of the 13th Amendment.
Sir, there are preset, there's statutory guidelines on what you can be paid for jury duty.
Well,
and
my
so a
policy
check
is
will come
that
to
I
you.
actually set my own wage.
Well, we don't follow your policy. We follow the laws.
So the law is
State of
that
Oregon.
you don't
Okay.
enslave people?
We haven't enslaved anybody.
Really? $10 an hour?
And you're free to
For,
go.
for 50 people?
We'll send you a check at the end of the month.
$10 an hour is slave wages, so I need to actually bill $500 an hour, and then each phone call, I need to bill $500 for each phone call that I've made to the to that line.
So the 13th Amendment clearly says neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. So what this is here, whether it's slavery or involuntary servitude, I mean, either one. And when they send me a jury summons threatening me with physical violence, where someone's going to physically arrest me and take me in front of the judge to stand for contempt of court that doesn't even have a complainant, this is certainly one of the two. It's either slavery or involuntary servitude. So she's over here claiming that she follows the law, but she's actually not following the law, and this is very typical of these guys. They always look at their state statutes and they say that this is what our law is. But no, those can be laws only if they don't try and supersede the Constitution. So here again is no involuntary servitude, and they're over here threatening people with arrest if they don't come and serve. And by the way, I'm saying $10 an hour here. Oh, huge mistake. It's $10 a day for all these 50 people. And notice they don't correct me because that obviously looks even more like 19th century subsistence wages. I mean, no matter how you look at this, this is like either slavery or involuntary servitude. And for her to think that she follows the law, she works in a courtroom or in a courthouse. You think about that. These are the people that are paid to enforce their laws. So just liken this to walking onto a carpenter's job site and telling him how to do his job, because that's what I'm doing here with these people. They're supposed to know these things. That's why I pay them. That's why they have a home to go home to at night. Other people that don't do a job, they get to go ahead and sleep on the sidewalk. Because I bill by the hour.
You're free to send whatever you would like to send.
Okay.
We'll pay you what you're...
Here, would you put the address to send my, here, put it on there. The address to send the bill.
We're not, just so you know, we're not gonna pay your bill.
Well, you're gonna get a bill and then you're gonna get a lien, so.
Okay. Here's a business card.
And this has...
our address. Okay?
Okay. Is this you?
Yep, that's...
Marley Aldred?
I'm Marilee Aldred.
Mary Lee? Okay. All right, so I just send my hours and the bill to you?
You can send it to the circuit court, but we will send you a check for today and for your mileage today.
Is that you that sends out the check?
Nope, it's not.
Okay,
State of Oregon.
Okay, who is it that does it?
Somebody in Salem.
Okay. All right, so I'll just send you the bill and then you'll send it on? Is that correct?
I will send them what I get. Yep.
Okay. All right, thank you. Is this the only set of stairs?
Right here. Yep.
Is there an elevator?
There is, right here. So you come to where the bathroom is. The elevator is right there. So.
Gentlemen, if I had the energy, it would have happened today. It would have happened today, Sarge.
All right, sir.
Start respecting that oath. I don't want to see something like this ever again.
All right, sir. Have a good day.
All right.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
There we go.
Thank you. Well, what do you think, guys? Did we crush? Did we just take it? I don't want to do jury service anyway, obviously, but... Well, I don't know, guys. Is that a win? Is that a loss? It's hard to say.
Well, let me know what you think in the comments below. Do me a favor, though. Buy my book. It's the gems. It's the things that can keep you out of trouble. And yeah, you're not supposed to take it as legal advice, certainly. But essentially, it's the book that I wish I would have read when I was a kid, before I started having to deal with, especially through your 20s. Guys especially just really have to be wary of the cops. And I wish I would have read something like this. I've never seen any information out there like this. Auditors don't have it. In fact, you'll notice this is dated for over a month ago. And yeah, things take me forever these days. But since I conducted this audit, 15 auditors were arrested with Denver Metro audits for doing less than what I did. All they did is recorded inside a courthouse, in the halls. So it makes a huge difference. I'm in Oregon. My cops are better than the Colorado cops. There's no doubt about that. And these guys, they could have tried to bring charges against me since this event happened almost a month and a half ago, as of the recording. But they haven't, because they know that I've got all these crimes on them, and I'm going to press charges if they press charges on me, right? And they don't have a complainant, and I'm going to be pointing that out immediately. And they never had a complainant. In a lot of ways, that should have been the very first thing that I said to them. Instead, it was essentially the last thing. These guys, they need to really understand that they're not out here doing what they want. They're out here serving citizens that make complaints. That's what makes it a crime. Anything besides that is a 14th Amendment due process violation. So if I arrest these guys and they, choose to conspire, well, that's a 14th Amendment equal protection under the law situation. And, all of those are suable, or, some of these offenses are jailable, suable. You have recourse, and auditors have done a really good job of working out their defense, but there is no offense until now. So this is like auditing, but it's auditing 2.0, citizen law enforcement.